If you are in a place where it is appropriate, comfortable, and safe for you to do so, please close your eyes and begin to take some slow, long, deep, relaxing breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. With every inhale, feel more light and peace entering your body and mind. With every exhale, feel like you're allowing yourself to let go of all tension and anything you do not want. Inhaling peace, exhaling as you let go. We picture ourselves on top of a beautiful mountain in the center of a circular grove of trees. In the center of our circle, a bonfire blazes forth, lighting us and the grove up with a sacred golden light. We recognize that this is the light of perfect love and perfect trust. It easily and efficiently burns away everything that is not like itself, leaving us safe and serene. Into this sacred space, we invoke the presence of our Creator. To many of us, our Creator reveals themselves to be a god and goddess, a mother and father. Into this space, we also invite the presence of our guides, our angels, our teachers. We ask that they join together with us as we dedicate the time that we spend together to one another and to them. We ask that we be guided and led as we walk upon the way, becoming happier, more peaceful, more prosperous, more healthy, and more loving people. Thank you very much. And if it's appropriate for you to do so out loud, you can join me in saying the words, "Blessed be." A lot of times people are very depressed about money, and they feel like there's not enough money to go around. Things are getting more expensive. It feels like they can't get ahead, that there's not enough money left at the end of the month, that they don't have enough resources to put away money, to save, that they are not going to be able to get their needs met. The physical world is a condensation of the mental world. It's been stated that matter is the densest form of spirit, and that spirit is the finest form of matter. And so that we exist on a continuum of thought, and that our experiences in the physical realm are simply objectified thoughts. It's our thoughts on the screen of space that we are interacting with. And it's very helpful to think of it in that context when we are dealing with things like financial fears and financial problems, and the idea that there's nothing that we can do, that we are helpless in regards to our finances. And so there are things that we can do. And that's one of the places where magic seems to really shine for many people. If they can get their thought forms oriented properly, they can really see some results from working prosperity magic. Now, a lot of people misunderstand, and they think that the magic ritual is where the power is, and that's called superstition. So if you approach prosperity magic, just like any other magic, from a superstitious point of view, you're probably going to be disappointed in your results. So the idea that this particular powder is going to bring you money, the idea that this particular chant will bring you money, or even this psalm is going to bring you money, that's superstition. Those things are simply aids to focus your mind properly. It's the mind that works the magic, because thought forms are where all matter begins. You're a thought form. You're a thought form in the mind of the infinite. Your car is a thought form. That thought form was developed in the mind of the engineering team, created it. So everything that exists as an objectified thought form. And the only place that we really have power to change is on the level of thought, on the level of cause. And we have to start to let the effects take care of themselves. What happens is that if we feel like we don't have enough money, or we're afraid that we're not going to be able to get our bills paid, oftentimes we'll react with fear and then try to go into the world of effect and rearrange things and to do things and to make things happen. And very frequently, that's where we mess things up and make it worse, not better. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. When you're panicking about something and you go and you just start throwing stuff at it and start doing things and changing things around, it can really mess things up, because what you're actually doing is creating thought forms of chaos, thought forms of fear, thought forms of poverty. Whereas what really needs to happen, not only in financial problems, but in any problem, is that if there's an issue in the world of effect, the first thing that it's calling for is our relaxation, our peace, our calmness. We have to learn how to calm our bodies first, and then our minds always follow suit. So that's the first step in doing any kind of magic, but especially since we're speaking about money today, is no matter what the situation at hand is, your first step needs to be the calming of your mind. And you do that by calming your body. Every thought in your mind has a corresponding experience within your body. So when you're feeling tension in your body, that means there's a tense thought in your mind. So if you go through your body one little section in turn and relax each part of your body, and you can just tell yourself as you are relaxing, you close your eyes and you just say, my scalp is relaxed, my jaw is relaxed, my tongue is relaxed, my neck is relaxed, my throat is relaxed, my shoulders are relaxed. And you just go through each part of your body in turn, and your body has to obey you, because your body is not a sentient being. It is the effect of sentience. So it's the vehicle through which we have sentience, but the sentience happens in the mind. So where we have our experiences is in our mind, not in our body. And our body is the servant of the mind. So as we learn to relax the body, we are then in turn relaxing the corresponding areas of our mind. So that's our first step. No matter what's occurring, if there is a financial problem that you're dealing with or a financial fear that you're dealing with, the first thing that you need to do is relax your body, which then in turn will help you to relax your mind. Once your mind and body are relaxed, then you're in a place where you can start to change things to make a difference. Reason it out in your mind. What is the truth about money? Think in terms of infinite intelligence, the source of the universe, the source of all the galaxies, babies that grow out of embryos, the planets that revolve around the sun, photosynthesis, all of the grains of sand on a beach, all of the lakes and the rivers and the oceans, everything is a manifestation of the great mind of this infinite intelligence. And this is the same principle of life that gives life to you. It is that which is beating your heart right now, causing you to breathe. Just think in terms of how easy it is for infinite intelligence to create a blade of grass, to create an ocean, to create a planet, to create a volcano. How simple that is for infinite intelligence. It's just as easy for infinite intelligence to create money for you as it is for it to create oxygen or anything else. And the thing is that we have this idea that infinite intelligence is something that works outside of us. Yeah, that's fine for creating nature, but why would infinite intelligence have time for just little old me? Why would my financial situation be interesting to infinite intelligence when it's obviously very busy? But remember that it's infinite intelligence. Infinite intelligence can walk and chew gum at the same time. And infinite intelligence's will for us is happiness, is prosperity. And you don't have to know that's true in order for you to experiment with the possibility that's true. Just think of it as a science experiment. Imagine just for a moment, as you're reasoning this out in your mind, what if infinite intelligence wants me to be happy? What if infinite intelligence wants my finances to work out for me? Then who am I to stand in its way? And we realize as we do that, as we relax into these ideas, just considering these ideas as we reason them out in our minds, that very frequently we are the resistance to the successes in our lives. We have those tensions. We have those fears. We put up those blocks. And It's nothing for us to feel bad about. We're just simply like everybody else. We've been trained to be this way since the beginning of our lives, to believe that we're limited, to believe that we don't deserve, to believe all of these things. And so it's not infinite intelligence's fault that we have thoughts that are counter or antithetical to infinite intelligence's will for us. Spirit, that infinite intelligence has to wait for us, has to be patient for us. And until we come to that clear-cut understanding, no, I'm going to have faith that even though I can't see it yet with my eyes, that the infinite wants me to be happy, wants me to be prosperous, wants me to be wealthy. And that seems like such a big deal for a lot of people, this idea that God wants me to be wealthy. Why would God want me to be wealthy? Isn't money evil? Don't greedy people want money? Don't people do bad things for money? See, that's because we confuse greed and abundance. Greed is a fear thought. It's a fear-based thought system that is actually poverty in action. When you're greedy, it means that you don't think that there's enough, and so you grab. Many people do horrible things in order to have more money. But that's not money's fault. That's not infinite intelligence's fault. Money can't be held responsible for the choices people make. Neither can God. Can't be held responsible for the choices people make. People are free to make the choices that they want to make. But we don't want to make choices of greed. We want to make choices of abundance. We want to be in the flow of infinite abundance so that we can have all of our needs met and then some. We don't want to just have enough to get by. We want to have abundance. And so does infinite intelligence want that for us. So what we're talking about today is being in the flow of the will of the divine. And the will of the divine is that we be abundant. The will of the divine is not about greed. It's about abundance, that there's enough for everybody and then some. There's enough and to spare. Look at how lavish nature is. Do you think that there's just enough flowers, just enough grains of sand, just enough leaves, just enough water in the ocean? No, there's always an overabundance, more than anybody can need. That's how nature works, and that's how nature wants to work for us. So then after we just consider that, we relaxed our bodies, we relaxed our minds, and we started to reason it out that it's not only okay for us to be wealthy, but it's the will of the infinite for us to be wealthy. Then the next step is that we have to decide to take charge of our minds and to create the thought forms which we desire to have experienced in our lives. So that's when we have to do our work. It's not enough to just say, yes, it's the will of the divine for me to be wealthy. We have to do our part. We have to look within and find the spark in us of desire that was placed there by the infinite. And that's our part. We have to co-create. We have to say, what do I want? What will make me happy? If I didn't have any limits, what would I really be doing and why? A lot of people, at first, they have a lot of just like passing lusts that happen. And you can let those come up, but that's not the will of the infinite at all, is it? To have just passing lusts. You let those things die off, and you start really being more sophisticated about your building of your thought forms, asking yourself, what do I really want? What makes my heart sing? What makes me happy? What do I want my finances to look like and why? Maybe you want to feel at peace with money. You don't want to always be worried about getting your bills paid. That's fine. But then after that, then what? Don't you want something to buy? Maybe you want a new home. Maybe you do want a new wardrobe. There's nothing wrong with that. Maybe you do want a new car. There's nothing wrong with you wanting to have nice transportation, a nice home, a nice wardrobe. Infinite intelligence wants you to be happy, wants you to have all of those lavish things. God is very opulent in that regard. But that's not greedy to just want the things that make you happy. But it's up to us to start to decide what we want. And then we can cast for those things. We can actually build thought forms based on those things. And not only allow ourselves to have them, but recognize that we're co-creating with infinite intelligence to have those things or something even better. And that's a very important way of approaching magic. Is this or something even better according to the infinite's will for me? And that way, if we are off the track, if we are off on some lust that's not going to do anything good for us except for get us lost, then we're offering up the idea to infinite intelligence to please help us to revise this, because what we really want is happiness. What we really want is abundance. So that's the next step, is to actually do our part in deciding what we want. What is it that makes us happy? What are those things? And we can get very specific. The next step is we have to be very diligent with what we're allowing ourselves to say and think in regards to money in general. It's very important that we watch our words. When we say things like, "Oh, that's so expensive, I could never afford that," it's not so much that you have to worry that particular one-time phrase is going to go out and destroy your life. That's superstitious. We're not worried like that. We are concerned, however, that those words are representative of a habitual thought form. And that when we can start to notice when we say things like that and say, wait a minute, is that what I want? Is that what I want? Or do I want to be able to afford this thing? So we can just start to change the way we say things. Now, it's not that you have to say, oh yeah, I'm going to go buy that if you can't afford it. I'm going to just put it on the credit card. That's not what we're saying. We're saying that instead of saying that's so expensive, I can't afford that, you could say, I don't want to buy that right now. But if that's something you really want, you can also add to that, at least silently to yourself, but that thing is an idea in the divine mind. And I accept that idea. I accept it with divine grace. I'm grateful that I am receiving that. I can have that thing. That thing is mine. That's a very different way of looking at I can't afford that. I'm not going to buy that right now. That's the truth. I'm not going to spend money on that right now. But that's something I do want. And I know that's an idea in infinite intelligence's mind. And since it's already an idea in infinite intelligence's mind, I can accept that for myself as well. So rather than saying I could never afford that grand piano, you just say, I'm not going to buy that grand piano today, but that grand piano is an idea in infinite mind, and I accept that idea for myself and I receive it now. So if you want that grand piano, you don't think in terms of, oh, never could I afford that. You think that's something that I want. Infinite intelligence wants me to have it. And so I'm accepting that. Being aware of our words and thusly our thoughts. It's really hard to monitor your thoughts all day long. I think it's impossible. You have too many thoughts all day long. You can't monitor each and every thought, but you can monitor your words. You can notice what you say. And those words very frequently are an indication of some very powerful thought forms in your mind. And so let them come up and then change them. Don't just say, I can't afford that, and then let it go. You need to take it and revise it. I have a lecture called Take It Out of the Law. That's what Marion Weinstein used to teach us how to do, is when we notice ourselves saying, oh, I can't afford that, you just say, oh, take that out of the law. And what you're saying is, I'm taking that out of the law of cause and effect, and I'm going to revise that thought. I can't afford that piano. Take that out of the law. I'm not going to buy that piano today. But if that piano is something that I truly want, the universe wants me to have it, and I accept it. I'm going to create a spell for that piano. I'm going to build a thought form for that piano, and I'm going to have that piano. The other thing that you want to be able to do is, as we've discussed, I had a lecture on doing magic in your sleep. This is very important for you if you're having financial problems, is watch what you're going to sleep with. A lot of times when people are really worried about money, they bring those worries into sleep with them. And then those thought forms that they are bringing into sleep with them are very busy. That's the thought form that they brought into sleep with them to be deposited into their deep mind. So instead of that, as you're going to sleep, you think of a phrase or a word that represents that which you do desire instead of what you don't desire. And you bring the thought of what you want into sleep with you. And it can be a seed word. It can just be like the word wealth or the word prosperity or the word abundance if you want. Or you could say, all my needs are now met in divine order as you're going to sleep. Whatever that idea is that you want to plant in your mind, make sure that's the idea you're going to sleep with. Don't go to bed with worries about money. We've heard that phrase, don't let the sun go down on your anger. That means if you're having a fight with your spouse or something like that, you don't want to create more and more of that by planting the seeds of anger into your deep mind. But the same could be said with don't let the sun go down on your poverty thoughts. Don't let the sun go down on your financial fears. Do something about them. Take charge of them. Now, the fact that most of you are studying magic means that you have tools at your disposal that a lot of people aren't aware of, that you can be using to change this experience that you're having. If you're having financial problems or financial worries, like you can't seem to get ahead, you can't get to that level of abundance that you want, and you're always just struggling, you have tools available at your disposal. You can use all of those tools of building thought forms, of working affirmations, of doing meditations, of visualizations, of conjuring, all of those things that we teach. And you can rest assured that it works just as well for money as anything else. But it's really got to be that we make the choice and the decision that we're no longer going to entertain the idea that we are undeserving of wealth, or that money is evil, or that money is bad. How can money be bad? It's simply a system of exchange. It's not bad just because some people are bad with money. That's like saying that anybody takes a knife and kills somebody with it, that means that all knives are bad. Of course knives aren't bad. Just because some people misuse knives doesn't make knives bad. And just because some people misuse money, and a lot of people do, it doesn't mean that money is bad. It's just that it's fertile ground for human greed. It's really easy for greedy people to use money as their tool for greed. So don't blame money and have it in your mind that money is bad. Don't think that you're too spiritual for money, that it's I've either got to be spiritual or prosperous, that I'm better than everybody else because I'm poor. That's something that your deep mind will continue to prove to you over and over again. See how spiritual you are? You don't have any money, you're broke. But it's not true. You can be spiritually illumined and wealthy at the same time. And everybody's different as to what level of financial wealth they're comfortable with. It doesn't matter if you have lots and lots of money. All you need is to make sure that you have the money to do what you want to do when you want to do it, and that all of your needs are met. If you get all of your financial needs met, and then you have enough money to do what you really want to do when you really want to do it, you're as rich as you need to be. You don't need large sums of money necessarily to have that. Everybody's different. So let's take some time this week and give ourselves permission to think in terms of what we want financially, and that it's holy for us to have those desires for money, and that those holy desires are there to be realized, and that we don't have to resist money. We don't have to go through poverty experiences and financial problems. We can have what we want and still be happy and still be spiritually uplifted. We can have it all here. It's just a matter of taking it as it comes, one little step at a time, and making sure that we keep our minds focused on what we want rather than allowing our fears to be running the show. Decide, what do I want? What do I want? It's up to you and infinite intelligence to co-create the perfect financial condition for you. And you can have it, and you're going to have it. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I so appreciate you. Much love and many blessings.